The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, this is Chris from Travelweek's Learning Center. Today we have three wonderful ladies who are going to teach us more about Germany. Before I introduce our first presenter, I just want to remind everyone that there will be a draw at the end of the webinar for a sunscreen from Travel in Gear. So please stay on till the very end. And to be entered in the draw to win the Germany FAM, you must attend all three webinars in this series. If you did receive the e-blast, you'll see the other two, so please register for those. Throughout the webinar, if you do have any questions, please type them in the question box, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. When asking the questions, please state the presenter you want to address the question to. Okay, so our first presenter is Julianne. Julianne?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so I'll pass it off to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Chris. So, good afternoon to all of you. I hope you had a successful day so far and had a good lunch as well. My name is Juliane and I'm the PR manager for the German National Tourist Office here in Canada. So, herzlich willkommen to our presentation today. In the next 10 minutes, I will explore with you Germany and its beautiful culture. And after that, we would like to learn something about Thuringia and Frankfurt from Carolina and Laura. So, let me start off with a few specifics about Germany. So we're located in the very central within Europe, which makes it very easy to get to Germany and also to connect to other European countries. And just for your information, to get a better feeling of the size of the country, you can actually fit Germany 27 times into Canada or 3 times into Ontario. So Germany has a pretty good size to get around and explore all the different parts of the country while you or your clients are there. So Germany consists of 16 federal states. The capital is Berlin with 3.5 million inhabitants. And as you might wonder now, Berlin is also a state, and we have in total 3 cities that are city-states. And only 4 of our cities in Germany have more than 1 million inhabitants. So all the other cities are well below. And you can guess already that we have 10,000 vibrant cities, which makes it worthwhile to visit not just one city, but as many as possible, right? So Germany is very accessible from Canada. We have Canadian gateways like Calgary, Halifax, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. And there are 194 nonstop flights per week, so from May until October, that is. And there are direct flights from Canada to Frankfurt and Munich by Air Canada, Lufthansa, and Condor. Once you made it to Germany, it's very easy to get around. So either your clients are booked on a group tour, or if they are a FIT traveler, they will probably take advantage of our high-speed ICE trains. And they get you from A to B really fast and efficiently in Germany. And I don't know whether you've heard it before, but according to the 2016 edition of the US News and World Report, Germany was voted the best country in the world out of 59 other major countries. And they used 75 assorted criteria to look at a country's progress, such as entrepreneurship, cultural influence, business-friendly policies, and economic progress. And Germany beat out Canada and the United Kingdom to take this top spot. And we're really proud of that. And if you travel to Germany, you will really feel safe. It's an affordable country. English is widely spoken, and we have a great infrastructure. And also the people are really fun and friendly. And if you give them something to drink, like a beer or a glass of wine, they become even friendlier, right? So what I would like to do now is tell you a little bit more about music in Germany and culture. So Germany offers a very great variety in culture and music. We have century-old concert halls. For example, on the left side, you have the Margraville Concert Hall in Bayreuth with this beautiful Baroque stucco and paintings, and you can enjoy this beautiful scenery while you listen to a concert there. And also, we have very modern sites for cultural events, like you can see on the right side. This is a former industrial heartland area in the west of Germany, and now you have concerts there and a lot of other fun events. And probably you have already heard it or noticed it yourself. Germany has one of the most vibrant music scenes in the world. So we started as a cultural and musical hotspot like centuries ago with a lot of classical composers, and still today we have a lot of bands that are like known all over the world. So some of the classical composers I would like to tell you a little bit more about are Wagner on the left, Handel in the middle, and Johann Sebastian Bach on the right side. Handel is probably one of the most famous German composers in the English-speaking world. He composed 42 operas, 25 oratorios, including The Messiah, and it's very impressive because he wrote the music for The Messiah only within a couple of 2 to 3 weeks, so that is really impressive, and it's a very great concert that's definitely worth hearing. Wagner is also very famous as one of the most important romantic composers, and as Carolina will tell you a little bit more about him, I don't want to spoil too much of her presentation. Also with Bach, he's also one of the most important German composers, and also Carolina will tell you a little bit more about him. So Germany is a country that loves music, as you've already learned. And we have 60,000 choirs in Germany, and 4 of them are world-renowned voice choirs. So one of the important ones is the Dresden Kreuzchor. They will have their 800 years anniversary this year. So they were founded in the 13th century, and today they consist of 150 guys, young boys, aged from 9 to 19. They live in a boarding school in Dresden and get a very precise special education, and so that their voices are really sharp and clear, and they give beautiful concertos in the Church of the Holy Cross in Dresden. So they usually accompany the liturgical services and the Vespers on Saturdays. So if your clients happen to travel to Dresden on a Saturday, really send them to this church because it's a great opportunity to hear this beautiful choir sing. And also, as they have the 800-year anniversary this year, there will be concerts in Dresden and also throughout Germany, and they even tour to North America. Another great city in Germany that is very famous for its music is Leipzig. This is a place where Bach used to work for the major part of his life, and he was a conductor of the St. Thomas Voice Choir. They also still perform today in the St. Thomas Church, and it's also a very, very famous choir, and it's also 800 years old. So they had their anniversary in 2012, so they're just a little bit older than the Dresden Voice Choir. And also Leipzig is the birthplace of Richard Wagner. And in Leipzig, you can still experience a lot of musical heritage. So they have a music trail that leads you through the cities to birthplaces of famous composers, to concert halls, and it's definitely worth visiting when you're a music lover. So the last topic I want to talk to you a little bit about is the Reformation in Germany. It's one famous event that you really can't miss and shouldn't miss. So Martin Luther is the guy that granted us with the Reformation. On October 31st in 1570, he nailed his 95 theses to the church door of Wittenberg, and this marked the beginning of the Reformation. And this eventually led up to the separation of the church. So today we have a Lutheran church and the Catholic church. That's due to Martin Luther. This is Wartburg Castle in Eisenach. This is a place where Luther used to live for a period of his life. He sought refuge there, and was translating the New Testament, but also Carolina will tell you much more about that later on. So if you have any further questions about Germany, feel free to ask me or even my colleague Antje Spletstetter. And also you can find lots and lots of information about Germany on our website. So whether it is a certain age group that you're looking forward to send them, or you need inspiration about nature travel, we have lots of information on our website. So definitely make sure to take a look at it. And as you can see, Germany has a lot of things to offer. It's well worth a visit, and we would love to welcome you and your clients in Germany anytime soon. So auf Wiedersehen, Dankeschön, and here are my contact information if you would like to reach out. And now I would like to pass on to Carolina.
Thank you so much, Julianne, for presenting. I'm just going to introduce Carolina now. Carolina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Thuringia. Here we go. I hope you can all see the screen. Welcome to Thuringia. Thuringia is a free state located in the very heart of Germany. It's just 2 hours east of Frankfurt on your way towards Berlin and north of Bavaria. Thuringia is often called the cultural treasure trove. You will learn more about the medieval city center of the state capital Erfurt, about Weimar, the cultural capital of Europe, and about Eisenach, with beautiful Wartburg Castle. The webinar therefore will inform you about most important sites to see and also nature resorts to visit. At the end, I hope you will feel very much inspired to plan 3 unforgettable journeys. First, on the footsteps of the Reformation and Martin Luther. Second, to a land of music. And third, to a place with unique cultural and natural heritage, to a land of UNESCO World Heritage. My name is Carolina von Stoyen, and I'm the Marketing and Sales Manager of the Thuringia Tourist Board. But let's get started with a map. Thuringia is located, as we already mentioned, in the center of Europe, in the very heart of Germany. It's just 2 hours from Frankfurt and 2 hours from Berlin, either by train or by car. The nearest airports are Frankfurt Airport, Berlin or Leipzig. Also, I want to mention that in 2015, a new ICE train hub just opened in Erfurt, our state capital, which makes traveling much faster and more convenient. Since 2015, Frankfurt and Berlin can be reached from Erfurt within 2 hours. And starting in 2017, Munich can be reached from Erfurt within 2 hours and 30 minutes. And it's on the way, Berlin to Munich. Erfurt is right in between. Berlin and Munich are connected within 4 hours and 30 minutes then. But let's start our first journey to a land of World Heritage, UNESCO World Heritage in Thuringia. As some of you may know, Germany consists of 39 UNESCO World Heritage sites. In Thuringia, 4 UNESCO World Heritage sites are located in a very close distance of only 1 hour drive. There are also 2 UNESCO Biosphere Reserves to be discovered. The first and most important UNESCO site is Wartburg Castle, nearly 1,000 years old. It was in 1999 when UNESCO added Wartburg Castle to the World Heritage List. It was the home of Saint Elizabeth of Hungary. It was the place where Martin Luther translated the New Testament of the Bible into German. It was also an important inspiration for Ludwig II when he decided to build the famous Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria. The Wartburg Castle back then served as a role model for building parts of Neuschwanstein Castle. It's now a museum with Cranach paintings, for instance. Beautiful concerts take place in the historic halls and guided tours are offered. Nearby is a 5-star hotel. The second UNESCO World Heritage Site in Thuringia is the classical Weimar. The city of Weimar was the cultural center of Europe in the 18th and 19th century because of remarkable cultural flowering. It was home to very famous thinkers and writers. Therefore, you will find the living houses of Goethe and Schiller in the very heart of town. A very clever Duchess, Duchess Anna Amalia, invested in culture and education instead of war and equipment. And therefore, today, you will find the famous Duchess Anna Amalia Library in the heart of town. Here you will see the photo of the library in the famous Rococo Hall that now holds a Gutenberg Bible, for instance. Altogether, there are 7 historic houses and 5 palaces and landscape parks that belong to Weimar's UNESCO World Heritage. The third UNESCO World Heritage is shared with Dessau. It's the Bauhaus sites in Weimar. It was in 1919 that the Bauhaus School was founded in Weimar, and famous teachers like Vasily Kandinsky, Paul Klee, or Walter Gropius are connected deeply to the Bauhaus. A connection to the US or to Canada is the MetLife building in New York, the Mies van der Rohe buildings in Toronto or Chicago, or the Gropius House in Boston. Anyhow, it was a revolution of the architectural concepts and practices of back then. And the buildings and designs being put up by the professors of the Bauhaus School launched the modern movement of architecture and shaped the design of the 20th century. In 2019, Thuringia wants to celebrate because we're celebrating 100 years of the Bauhaus School. Exhibitions in Weimar, Thuringia take place also in Dessau and Berlin. There's new Bauhaus Museum in Weimar that will be opened with an exhibition space of more than 5,000 square meters. The fourth UNESCO World Heritage in Thuringia is the Hainich National Park. It's close to Wartburg Castle in Eisenach, just 30 minutes driving north, and it connects nature with the culture. It's a jungle-type forest, and it features the barrier-free treetop trail that you see on the photo right in front of you. There are tours being offered with rangers just above the trees, and you can really enjoy spectacular views of the Hainich National Forest. Especially families with children or elderly with their grandchildren are encouraged to discover the nature walking along the treetop trail. But now let's go on a second journey, on a journey of Martin Luther and the Reformation. In 2017, Thuringia is also celebrating the 500th anniversary. Martin Luther lived here in very many cities. He lived in Altenburg, Eisenach, Erfurt, Gotha, Jena, and many others. I just want to focus on some of those cities in this webinar. Martin Luther referred to the city of Eisenach as my beloved town. He studied at the school here, he preached at the church, but most importantly is this castle overlooking this beautiful town of Eisenach that you can see here now. This is the most visited Luther site in the world. It's the Luther Room at Wartburg Castle, where Martin Luther translated the Bible into a common German. It was his greatest cultural achievement. In 2017, a national special exhibition will take place at Wartburg Castle in Eisenach from May through November. It's called Luther and the Germans. But talking about Luther in Eisenach certainly means to also mention the Luther House. He spent his childhood in the very downtown in this half-timbered house with the Cotta family. It was reopened in September 2015, and right now you can find a brand new multimedia exhibition called Luther and the Bible. But jumping from Eisenach to another town in Thuringia to Erfurt, just 1 hour east of Eisenach. It was here in this very beautiful cathedral to your left where Martin Luther was ordained a priest. And in front of the cathedral at Cathedral Square, the town celebrates St. Martin's Day and many other festivals every year. St. Martin's Day is taking place on the 10th of November. Talking about Luther in Erfurt and going on a tour following the footsteps of the great reformer means to speak about the Augustinian monastery. The legend says that Martin Luther was caught in a severe thunderstorm in nearby Stotternheim and prayed to St. Anne. Out of gratitude of his survival, he became a monk at the very Augustinian monastery. This is now a museum with a Luther cell and a historic library. It features a church with the original glass windows showing the Luther Rose. It has a conference center, it's a pilgrimage place, and a small 2-star hotel. Traveling further east, the city of Weimar comes close to Weimar. And it's also about Luther, not just about Martin Luther, who was there many times, it's also about Lucas Cranach. Cranach is the painter of the Reformation and very well known because of the portraits of Luther and his family. There are Cranach paintings today shown in Eisenach, Weimar, and Gotha. The most important and largest Cranach painting in Weimar is seen at the town church St. Peter and Paul, the Cranach altar. There, nearby, at the Duchess Anna Amalia Library, you will find the famous Gutenberg Bible. Also, when talking about Martin Luther, I want to talk about nature. He was a great traveler back then. Actually, today, we can hike along the Luther Trail. And this hiking trail offers more than 1,000 miles of hiking. It connects the Luther cities and the Luther sites. It therefore connects Luther, culture, and nature for a rather spiritual experience all over central Germany. Certainly many offers can be booked all over the center of Germany, especially guided tours, church service lectures in English, Luther meals, medieval festivals, or concerts for your clients. Everything is available. But also I would like to take you to a land of music. And as Juliane already mentioned, there are very many famous names that can be connected to Germany, in particular to Thuringia. And of course, there's also a connection of Martin Luther and the music. And talking about music and Luther, of course, we have to mention Johann Sebastian Bach, who set Luther's words into music. And when talking about Thuringia, we have to talk about Wagner and Liszt and very many other concerts that can be enjoyed all year round. Let's start with Johann Sebastian Bach, who actually spent more than half of his life all over Thuringia. He was born in Eisenach, and at this slide you can see the Bachhaus Museum. But he also traveled all over the region. He was in Arnstadt and Dornheim, where churches, his wedding church, for instance, can be visited. There is Mühlhausen, Erfurt, and of course, Weimar again, connected to the life of Bach. When talking about Bach, guests really like to enjoy the Thuringia Bach Weeks Festival every year. It takes place from March to April, and it's the largest festival of classical music in Thuringia that takes place in the very authentic locations of Johann Sebastian Bach too. Well, the second composer I mentioned was Franz Liszt, and he is certainly connected very much to Weimar. He's a much celebrated piano virtuoso and composer, and in Weimar you will find as an authentic location the Liszt House Museum. There, in a private and very historic setting in the room you see, with a grand piano, concerts and special events can be enjoyed. Talking about Liszt festivals in Thuringia, I want to mention the Liszt Biennale in 2017, May to June, and the master classes in Weimar that run annually in July. The third composer and relative of Franz Liszt is Richard Wagner. And here, you know, Wagner's life and music is very much connected to Thuringia, especially to Eisenach, Weimar, and the city of Meiningen. Here in Eisenach, you can see the museum, the Wagner Reuter Villa. It's actually holding the second largest Wagner collection in the world after Bayreuth. And it's right on your way up to Wartburg Castle. Talking about the castle again, this is the festival hall at Wartburg Castle. Wagner was very much inspired by Wartburg Castle, has been there many times, and inspired to compose the Tannhäuser Opera. This opera is still performed here until today, and it's a great visitor attraction to attend concerts and events in this very special historic setting. Talking about music also means to talk about Christmas. Enjoy the Christmas markets once being here at that time of the year. And did you know that Thuringia was the home of the glass-blown Christmas decorations? When being here, also enjoy a fried sausage, the bratwurst to go, or for a rather larger snack, maybe the potato dumplings in one of our famous restaurants. The most important market connected to food and culinary treats is the Weimar Onion Market on the second weekend of October every year. But now, just lean back, relax, and enjoy the small movie about Thuringia. At this point, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Carolina. The next person we have presenting is Laura. And Laura, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I work as part of the international marketing team for the Frankfurt Tourism and Congress Board, and I'm really looking forward to telling you a bit more about Frankfurt. So please just feel free to ask any questions in that little question box, and I'll be happy to answer them at the end of the session. I am going to start off right now with a few basic facts about Frankfurt. The city currently has almost 800,000 residents with a total of 191 nationalities. And we actually just got the current numbers for 2015. And last year, Frankfurt had over 5 million visitors and more than 8 million overnights. So 3.7 million overnights from foreign markets with a total of 56,000 from Canada. Frankfurt is located right in the heart of Germany and connected to all major German and European cities by highway, train and plane. And the Frankfurt airport is located only 15 minutes from downtown Frankfurt, so it's really very easily accessible by public transportation. It's the country's biggest hub and currently connects Frankfurt with around 290 destinations worldwide. So at the moment we have 16 weekly flights to 9 destinations in Canada, including Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and more. All the blue cities you can see here are accessible by train and car with, like within 1 to 1.5 hours. So it's all really close to Frankfurt. And Munich, which is located in the south, and Berlin in the northeast, they are, around 4 hours away, depending on your choice of transportation. So therefore, the city is really the perfect starting point for many daily excursions. You can easily, take the train up to the Rheingau, which is beautiful with its vineyards and castles. And I personally can also recommend a trip to Wiesbaden, which is the state capital of the state Hesse, where you can relax in one of those beautiful spa facilities they have, or just be impressed by its special architecture. This is to give you a quick overview of the Frankfurt downtown area. Frankfurt is known as the city of short distances, and what I mean with that is that almost everything is within walking distance. The city center, which is here, is surrounded by this green belt, which marks the former city wall. And within the city center, you will find the Römer and the Römerberg. The Römer is our city hall and has been since 1405, and the Römerberg is our historical city center that features countless magnificent half-timbered homes. And those two spots are definitely the most popular and most photographed ones in Frankfurt. Across the river, right here, you have the Museum Embankment, which is a unique boulevard of cultural institutions. So what you find is countless museums are located next to each other and present all types of different arts you're looking for. Behind the Museum Embankment, there is Sachsenhausen. Sachsenhausen, especially Old Sachsenhausen, which is located around here. I hope you can see my little mouse moving around. Is where the city presents its apple wine culture with many traditional apple wine pubs. So crossing back across the river, right next to the city center, you will find the Station District, which has changed quite a lot over the past few years and months and has become really a new trend-setting quarter of Frankfurt. It's now home to some of the city's most popular and exclusive restaurants and bars. And it's quite popular, for nightlife and stuff like that. Also worth mentioning, I think, is the Europaviertel, which properly translates to Europe Quarter. It's located right behind the Frankfurt Trade Fair and Exposition Ground. And it's still growing a lot. It has been changed a lot the last few months, but it's there are many new hotels opening up there. It's great for going out for a drink at night. And there's a new shopping mall that just opened up called Skyline Plaza, which offers pretty much everything you're looking for. Frankfurt is definitely known for its great variety of culture and cultural events. Besides the mentioned Museum Embankment and a total of around 60 museums, the city is home to around 40 theatre groups and stages. And the Frankfurt Opera and the English Theatre are only two of many internationally awarded stages that are mentioned here on this slide. So this one is just to give you a quick survey of upcoming cultural highlights. My personal one is definitely the opening of the two Jewish museums. One will open just next month, and the other one will open mid-2017. They both have been under construction for a while, and we are really excited about the reopening. It's supposed to be really good. So some other events that take place every year or every other year are, for example, the Museum Embankment Festival, which features countless arts and craft stalls along the river, like the site that I just pointed out in the Sachsenhausen site. It offers loads of culinary highlights from around the world, live music, stage performances, and a special museum program. Museums are opened long hours on the weekend, and you can get a special button that allows you to enter countless museums for one prize. There's always one official partner country. It changes every year, and it's always the same country for the Frankfurt Book Fair and the Museum Embankment Festival. And in 2016, it's going to be the Netherlands. Besides being known as a city of culture, Frankfurt offers excellent shopping opportunities. The most well-known street is called Zeil. It's spelled Z-E-I-L. And it's Frankfurt's longest and one of Europe's most profitable shopping promenades. The Zeil is within the city center zone that I showed you earlier. And in a city, you can pretty much find anything you're looking for, from, mainstream fashion to upcoming designers to luxury labels, pretty much anything for every taste. In terms of food and grocery shopping, my personal highlight are Frankfurt's many weekly farmers markets. There's one farmers market located at a station called Konstabler Wache, which is also still in the city center, and it's only open every Thursday and Saturday, and it offers the most regional produce you are looking for. So pretty much anything from fruit and veggies to dairy and meat. And what I usually do is that I go on Saturdays when I'm off work, and I meet up with friends there, enjoy some regional specialties, and have a glass of warm or cold apple wine depending on the current temperatures. But it's a really nice spot to meet up. As we are already talking about food, so apple wine, hand-cased, green sauce, and Frankfurt sausages are only some of our traditional specialties. The green sauce is the dish you can see on the photo, and that's pretty much how it's being served. Years ago, green sauce was known as a dish for poor people. It's a bit like the history behind it, is what background's a bit similar to what pizza was in Italy. The reason being is that it's fairly easy to prepare, and people usually have the needed ingredients at home. It's just made from milk and sour cream and 7 different herbs, and usually served with eggs and potatoes. The herbs that are being used are always the same 7 ones, but wherever you eat it, it will always taste different, and people like to keep their magic recipe touches to themselves, and they don't want to share it. Same for culinary events as cultural events. Here's just a quick overview of upcoming events. To point out my highlights, it's going to be the Opera Square Festival, just because there's a lot of live music during the festival, which I personally really enjoy, and the Rheingau Wine Market, because it includes the whole region. Frankfurt is definitely glad and, very lucky to be home to so much green throughout the city and the whole region, really. Besides many local parks, the green belt has become very popular. It's not the green belt I pointed out to you at the beginning. It's a bigger one going around the city with a length of 75 kilometers, and it's been very, very popular for bikers and hikers on the weekends. The Botanical Garden is also very stunning. As you have probably noticed by now, as I've talked about loads of events, Frankfurt loves to celebrate. Those listed events here that you can see on this slide take all place every year, and The Roses and Light Festival takes place in the botanical garden I've just mentioned on the slide beforehand, and it's loved by pretty much anybody from young to old. What people will do is they will bring their own little bags of like little tea lights with them, and they will lay out beautiful patterns and images throughout the botanical garden. So it looks absolutely stunning when you go there at night and it gets dark because all the lights light up. Of course, what's also very popular each year is our Frankfurt Christmas market. Frankfurt is home to over 250 hotels with a total of 85 4- and 5-star hotels with over 23,000 beds at the moment. I selected a few hotel openings for you that are coming up in 2016. The Adina Hotel will open in the Europe quarter that I've mentioned before, which is located right next to the exposition area. And for anyone not knowing Motel 1, it's very popular in Germany. It's officially a 2-star hotel, but very, very modern, and it's a bit comparable to the Premier Inn hotels in the UK, if anybody is familiar with that one. We do have a whole list of hotel openings, so if you're interested, just let me know and I'll be happy to forward them to you. What we always recommend to visitors and tourists in Frankfurt is our Frankfurt card. Besides unlimited travel and use of public transportation, it has the advantage of giving many price reductions on things like sightseeing admissions, stages, restaurants, etc. It is available as a single and a group ticket for 1 or 2 days. And we do give commission for travel agents and tour operators. So if you are interested, please let us know and I'll be happy to get you in contact with the right contact person. So thank you very much. This was just a short and quick overview for Frankfurt. This is my colleague Jasmine, who is actually responsible for the Canadian market in Frankfurt, but wasn't able to attend today. She's currently on a business trip. She will be happy to answer you all the questions, so please feel free to contact her at any time. I am going to give back to Chris now.
All right, thank you so much for presenting. I just want to remind all agents that if you do have any questions, please do type them in now. We do have one question from Lynn. She's asking if this is being recorded. Yes, it will be recorded, and you'll be able to find it on the Travelweek YouTube channel, which will probably be up latest probably next week. All right, next question is the contact for Frankfurt City Card, please.
Yeah, I will type it in for you so you know it's easier probably to spell it out, right?
Right. The next question is there someone we can contact with help for local suppliers for putting together a group for Reformation? Carolina, I think that was you.
Yes, certainly. We do have a web page prepared with a lot of information about the Reformation. Our own website is press-trade.visit-thuringia.com, but for specific information on Martin Luther and the Reformation, we work closely with Saxony-Anhalt, cities like Wittenberg and Eisleben, and you will find a website called visit-luther.com with all the relevant information. And if you don't find what you're looking for over there, please free to contact me at any time.
All right. So for Joanne, who asked for the contact information for the Frankfurt cards, I believe you typed it out, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the last question is, for Sandy, can you send an email with the schedule of events?
Yeah, of course we can. I'd be happy to do that for Frankfurt.
All right. Do we have any last questions? Oh, and Joanne says perfect. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
All right. Do we have any last minute questions? All right, so I believe that is going to be the end of our webinar. Thank you again to you three for presenting, and thank you everyone for joining our webinar today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.